Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is our 11th webinar in the Think CS Digital Leaders Tell All series. Today in our Vision 1 webinar, we'll discuss key trends in customer experience optimization. If you have any questions, please ask in the chat area. If we don't have time to address live, we will respond through email after the event. I'm eager to hear that our panelists will be sharing today. I'd like to introduce our panelists. Ning is a digital product leader and customer experience strategist. She is dedicated to building high-performing digital products. She is the former head of optimization and personalization at Verizon and has spent more than a decade at top digital agencies such as LBI, Razorfish, and delivered big growth for top-tier brands such as American Express, McKinsey, Ford, TD Bank, BBVA, Nielsen, MasterCard, and AT&T. Thanks for joining us, Ning, and welcome.
Thanks for having me here.
Andrew Waite is an experienced consumer and enterprise technology executive. He has held many marketing, product, and technology leadership roles, including president of lynda.com, president of EF English Live, a board member at Fender, Evolv, CRO of Blurb, and GM and SVP of Ancestry.com. Andrew was a key contributor to the sale of lynda.com and to the private equity and IPO transactions at Ancestry.com. Thanks for joining us, Andrew.
Well, happy to be here.
Michael Scharff is the CEO of Evolv Technologies. Evolv is an AI-driven for digital growth optimization that serves the best experience to each audience every time. He brings over 2 decades of digital commerce and retail experience with leadership roles at some of the most known retailers in North America, including Sears Canada, Toys R Us, Staples, and Best Buy. Hello, Michael. You're on mute.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. And thank you, Marion.
And last but not least, Tyler Foster is the CTO and co-founder of Evolv Technologies, where he leads all product development, including research, user experience development, and technical operations. He previously held a series of technical leadership roles, delivering products as a founding member of the Navigator team at Era, a principal architect on Apollo Group's online learning platform, and an engineer in Intel's digital group. Thanks for joining us, Tyler.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Marie.
And I am going to now sit over to Michael.
Great. Thanks, Marion. So to start with, we'd like to share some of our observations from 2020. First off, COVID-19 has upended everything we do, from work to play to socializing, with ripple effects throughout the lives of everyone on the planet. While 2020 saw a significant downturn in almost all sectors, this year is looking more optimistic. We've learned how to temporarily adapt our lives to a more isolated model, but as the vaccine rollouts progress, we'll see more normal activities resume later this year. This will obviously vary dramatically by country and locale, but in the US, we expect to see significant progress by late summer. Next slide. Digital transformation is really fascinating. One clear impact of COVID-19 has been the dramatic acceleration in the adoption of digital channels. It appears we have leapt forward between 5 and 10 years in consumer behavior against prior trends. Many of these changes will not revert to norm, as these have become our new standards for engagement. Not only are the usual suspects like Walmart and Amazon winning, but industries that didn't focus so much on the digital experience, like dining, grocery, banking, and others, are now all laser focused on building better digital experiences for their clients. Andrew, maybe you can weigh in. How do you see companies responding to the ever increasing complexity with engaging customers online now? Oh, you're muted, Andrew. Sorry. Andrew, I think you're still on mute.
I don't know why it keeps muting me.
Ah,
okay, I'm not going to touch it. Okay, I think they're responding with even more complexity. I think they're responding by creating, instead of having a few landing pages, they're creating landing page clouds. They're creating micro funnels. They're optimizing at the tiniest possible level, and they're dramatically increasing sort of the the microscopic attention to all the different little experiences. And then on the other hand, they're also trying to work as hard as possible the mysteries of the Facebook and Google algorithms. I mean, the internet is disappearing. It's been replaced by Facebook, Google, and Amazon to some degree. And so an awful lot of the endemic promotional kinds of channels that we used to have are becoming less relevant, and the ones that remain are becoming more and more expensive. And I look, to me, the big challenge is that at the very top, people are under pressure for things like CAC to LTV ratios. They're under pressure to get marketing as a cost of revenue percentages aligned. There's all sorts of big Wall Street metrics that they're under pressure to deliver. But down in the trenches where people are doing the actual work, right, there's a very, very maniacal focus on these sort of micro KPIs that we are taking it on faith add up to an improved business. And so that would be my take in terms of what I see out there.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there's any evidence that all of that kind of fragmentation of experience is actually driving value for retailers, but it sounds like it's hard to tell. Right?
I would argue that the culture of optimization and the pressures, the financial pressures, aren't particularly aligned. In other words, at the level of the micro experience optimization sort of, strategist or manager or tactician, however you want to call it, they're very worried about an increase in conversion, an increase in throughput, an increase in efficiency at that level of the transaction. That larger sense of, LTV to CAC, that larger sense of the bigger financial metrics, I think there's a mismatch. I think we're taking it on faith that one produces the other, and I'm seeing increasing evidence across the companies that I work with that if it's not cumulative, right? The improvements in optimization across all those hundreds of channels are not equaling very much at the very highest levels. So anyway, that would be my take on that.
Great, some interesting challenges. Okay, next slide. So, the focus generally on digital is clearly paying off for brands. Digital platforms provide the opportunity for scale, reach, and efficiency that you really can't get in traditional offline methods. And these are proving to be really critical to all companies' success nowadays. Digital has become fully integrated into the customer experience across all businesses. Some of the key trends that we see driving this and enabling companies to be successful here are companies truly embracing omni-channel experiences and engagement now, using digital channels to grow their customer pipeline and bring customers both to their digital experiences as well as to their stores, recognizing the need to empower customers to use self-service when and how they want throughout their entire journey. Also, leveraging data has become really critical. The amount of data that we can glean working through all these customer interactions and leveraging that at scale requires really significant new tools and skills, but it can yield great, powerful results. And then finally, automation is really the key to being able to take all of this data and use it in a meaningful way to understand how to use the data to drive behaviors. And AI can be a critical element in helping understand and utilize all this data. And that leads to our last observation. The rise of AI in 2020 has been really significant. AI has a number of benefits, but key is the ability to accelerate experimentation and iterate quickly to optimize your entire customer journey. It also allows you to move faster and become more nimble, understanding trends and behavior, and in some cases, anticipating future behaviors. And finally, it enables you to use real-time data insights to identify signals and respond faster to your customer needs. So now, why don't we pivot and look forward to 2021 and some of the things we see coming up that we think are going to be exciting this year. First up, contactless customer experience. COVID accelerated the trend of customers looking to own the journey and define how they want to engage. Not only is self-service important, but now customers demand options for completely contact-free shopping and a multitude of options for delivery. As we saw with the path of shipping, from free shipping to 2-day shipping to next day or same day, customer expectations are going to continue to evolve in terms of how they want to engage. Making sure we provide not only flexible options, but great experiences along the journey will be critical to success. Once these new modes of engagement have been established, many customers will retain them into the future. These aren't temporary changes. Next up, empathy matters. 2020 was a hard year for everyone along many vectors. Customers are responding to companies that meet their needs with empathy and understanding. The customer experience is no longer just about making things more convenient. It's about meeting people where they are and providing value and relevance. This means showing empathy to different demographics as their adoption of digital channels matures. And the key message is that the customer journey and the supporting customer experience efforts have to demonstrate genuine empathy and understanding for the needs of the customer. Next up, omni-channel optimization. With a dramatic acceleration of digital engagement, customers are now becoming adept and comfortable using multiple platforms along their journey. This is a trend we've seen over the last 10 years or so, but it's certainly accelerated dramatically in the last 12 months. Ensuring seamless and engaging experiences across all these platforms is now not only expected, but required for success. And while mobile has been the key to driving growth the last several years, the new stay-at-home requirements have shifted a lot of behavior back to the laptop and desktop PCs. We need to really think about all platforms in the digital journey these days. Ning, perhaps you could tell us, in terms of business outcomes and impact, how important has focusing on the customer experience been for you, and what kinds of approaches have you found to be most effective?
Yeah, good question, Michael. Let me maybe start with just give some numbers, right? The numbers speak for itself. Over about 12 to 18 months period in Verizon, we saw my team's contribution to digital growth grew 370%. And then in the first half of 2020, my team's contribution to conversion rate growth specifically was 24% of that. So those are very, very big numbers for a very, very big company. So I think, right there, you can tell, customer experience isn't just a good intention, isn't just necessary, it has real impact for the business. So that is why we focus on it. In terms of how we went about it, right? I've always been a big fan of a highly relevant customer experience in real time. I think in many ways, I'm very much a pragmatic strategist, right? I don't want to get stuck with debate about should we do hyper personalization, should we do auto personalization, should we do optimization? And I think it depends on the situation you have. The likelihood is you need to employ a hybrid of different tactics in order to be highly effective. And Evolv tool, its ability to allow us to optimize across domains, optimize across pages and journeys, and its ability to be able to dynamically create microsegments, in both ways proved very, very effective for our business.
Yeah, that's great. And how has AI really been an enabler for you in terms of speed here? How has it helped you at Verizon in the past really dramatically improve performance in these areas?
Yeah, that's also a great question. I think, you talked about that, about microsegmentation. And Andrew early on also talked about what's changing in the trenches, right? And right there, you can tell, I would say quantity, right? Being able to operate and scale is becoming more and more important. Large quantity of strategies and plans and executions with large quantity of data. And you have to really be able to do that very quickly, very effectively. AI really has proven its ability to handle, I would say, large quantity of possibilities very, very effectively. Again, right, I threw some numbers out there just to show, how effective it has been. I would say, back in 2018, when I first started in Verizon, we're running about 100 combinations a year. It's a very large, complex ecosystem, right? With AI in place, and by the time we get to 2020, I'll give you one project. We're not talking about all the projects. Over just one project, over a 4-week time frame, we're exploring about 500,000 possibilities. And AI was able to handle that very quickly and found what's more effective. So what does it matter, right? That dramatically, I would say, shrinks the turnaround time business owners face in order to search for what's effective in the market.
Great, thank you, Ning. Okay, so let's move on to evolving digital experiences. So these new modes of engaging in buying and obtaining products make it even more important than ever that all the multi-channel options are presented in ways that are easy to understand and remove the complexity of the multitudes of decisions that customers are now required to make. When you look at a typical website now, there are so many options for shipping, pickup, delivery, payments. It's become really complex, and understanding how we can help simplify those experiences while still presenting customers all the options that they require is a real challenge. We also need to recognize that different demographic groups that were previously not big consumers of digital experiences and not big shoppers online are now all using digital. And we need to think about what unique needs and experiences are critical to these new consumers and how we can help them navigate these new tools that they're using. Andrew, maybe you could weigh in here. For many companies, the conventional wisdom seems to be that the answer has been to drive more traffic to their sites. In your experience, what's the most important thing right now? Is it traffic, or is it really optimizing those experiences when customers are coming to your sites? And how do you think about that?
So probably the little bit of the cop-out answer is it depends.
Yeah.
Companies are under very different kinds of pressures from a performance perspective. And there are companies who are in the business of selling something that's a kind of a commodity, and they're looking for micro differentiators around offer, perhaps potentially, or whatever it is. There's companies that are in highly differentiated businesses that are looking for endemic pools of customers. So what they're doing, just on the whole, if I were to generalize, is starting to question, on the one hand, the balance, the trade-off between traffic quantity and quality, starting to worry about essentially churning and saturating customer pools. On the other hand, tactically, as I said earlier, they're responding to it by creating more complexity, right? 1,000-page landing page clouds, all the rest of it. And so to me, to Ning's remarks, the answer is in understanding those hundreds, maybe thousands of intersections of price, offer, customer source, customer state, and so on, in all the millions of variations of it, to try and get at least stronger themes. Because when I look across, the portfolio of companies I work on, the improvements are really, really hard to come by, and they can be canceled out by advertising economics. So, for example, one big language learning company I work with that has, I think, around 600,000, 700,000 paying students on it. They've increased conversion by 15%. They increased retention by, I don't remember the number. They've done really well, but the cost of media, the cost of traffic has gone up and canceled out those improvements. Their answer is probably more traffic. On the other hand, I work with e-commerce companies and other more commodity types of companies that have got huge, mature organic traffic presences where they're seeing traffic growth, they're seeing a decline in session quality, and their businesses aren't going anywhere. So in their case, more traffic is absolutely not the answer. It's a stronger initial relationship with the traffic that does show up, and probably with fewer people than they're going after now. But again, this dysfunction happens because at the tactical level, the solutions and the culture and the structure is being used, and at the kind of financial performance, where those are the OKRs, there's this big disconnect. And I think, to Ning's remarks, I think AI and some of the stuff that we're doing is potentially the path forward.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. And speaking of AI, perfect transition to the next slide. So we think this year is going to see a big acceleration in the adoption and use of AI across all fields of digital experience. As people have come to understand that these new modes of interaction, these digital channels, have become core to any business being successful, looking for tools and systems to help are really critical, and AI is a big part of that. it's really challenging, as we've heard, to create complex solutions from all of these variables that clients are facing today to create great customer experiences. And we're seeing companies make investments across all sectors in AI and optimization in ways that they haven't really thought about in the past. And by design, AI is really, capable of taking these disparate ideas and taking these multitudes, as Ning said, maybe 500,000 types of variations, and finding the right path forward to help customers get the experiences they're looking for. And on that, Ning, so what kinds of capabilities and elements do you look for in tools when you're evaluating products to bring into your suite of services?
You're asking $1 million question, Michael. We all deal with large brands and large business, right? We all know it is not easy, right, to figure out what do you do so you can move very, very quickly in a pretty complex situation. I would say that there's a word, it's my favorite word. I think it really sums it up for a business owner like me, right? It's called a plug-in and play. We all know digital is fast evolving. It doesn't matter how fast we can, adopt new tools. There are new tools coming out every day. Something else is changing. The market's changing. So our ability to be able to continuously evolve and change and embrace new methods, new technology, new tools, I think it's always going to be critical in especially large brands' success. So a couple of things come to mind in terms of what plug-in and play means, right? Cloud-based, I think definitely a way to do it, and SaaS if you could. Lastly, I would say, two things I want to highlight. One is what I call lightweight API integration. Whatever the tool you have, making sure you can play very well with ecosystem very, very quickly in a nimble way from a technology perspective. And lastly, I would say, I don't think there's enough credit being given to this last one. Is what I call internal innovation, right? Really working with the internal IT team to innovate, and they can do a fantastic job. That's exactly what happened at Verizon, and it's amazing changes they made at enterprise level really allowed us to leap forward.
Yeah, I think we might have talked about that on one of our prior webinars around the importance of an innovation culture in a big company to be successful, and really the ability to collaborate and look cross-functionally at how to enable these, just like customers are looking for omni-channel solutions and lots of different platforms. Companies need to do the same thing. They need to be super flexible and try lots of different things, and that starts with culture. So that was great. Thank you, Ning. Thank you, Andrew. I'm going to hand the slides over to Tyler now, who's going to talk a little bit about the Evolv platform. Take it away, Tyler.
Great. Cool. Thanks, Michael. I don't have control of the slides, so I guess I will just, I don't know, maybe click every time that you need to move. Great. Cool. So again, thanks, Michael, and thank you, Andrew and Ning, for participating today. Today, I'm going to talk about how Evolv, a pioneer in applying artificial intelligence to experience optimization, is approaching these new opportunities. In 2020, we focused on providing a platform to support the full optimization program through our continuous optimization technology and connecting our customers with the full solution through our partners and internal experts to ensure all of our customers have access to technology and talent to run successful optimization programs. In 2021, we're extending the continuous optimization technology to go beyond the highest average experience into one-to-one personalization and extending this capability across your full user journey. Quick. So, in the space of right now, you have quite a number of different types of tools. You have A/B testing and experience optimization platforms, which are good at optimizing the base experience, but bad at personalization and identifying targeting opportunities across channels. You have personalization engines, which are good at personalization and identifying targeting opportunities within specific channels, but really they don't have the tools or technology to be able to optimize the base experience for all users. And then finally, you have real-time interaction management and multi-channel marketing platforms, which are good at personalizing content across a wide range of CX channels, but bad at optimizing for the base experience and identifying targeting opportunities automatically. Click. So we at Evolv see the holy grail as being able to optimize both for all of your users or the average user, while at the same time performing personalization across all of the CX touch points. So bringing the power of optimization together with the power of personalization to deliver the true optimal experience for each user. Click. Today's experience is very disjointed. A lot of people think that a company can just choose to deliver a great user experience, but a great user experience isn't one choice. The user experience is the product of thousands of individual decisions, and the current landscape results in those thousands of decisions being made in isolation and just hoping that the combined result is a good business outcome. Oftentimes these decisions are leading to conflict or friction that has a negative impact on the customer experience. Click. Great experiences connect users with the products and services they're looking for with the lowest friction possible. At Evolv, we believe that achieving that requires all touch points in the journey to play in concert together towards the benefit of the customer. That's why at Evolv, we're bringing the power of AI-driven optimization to the full user experience journey and integrating with all of the touch points of your customer experience. Click. By bringing this personalized optimization to market, we're allowing you to find the optimal base experience while at the same time discovering opportunities for personalization, both through segmentation and one-to-one targeting. Click. Providing real-time benefit to your bottom line while providing deep insights into the learnings that the system has made throughout this process. So that includes which ideas work better for your average user, but also what ideas work best for individual segments, both at the base experience level as well as at the content or media level. Click. Now, this process, anytime that you're approaching personalization or optimization within a large technology environment, you're going to face some common challenges, and there's some areas that we have really focused on to ensure that our customers are providing the best experience for their users, and ensuring that they stay compliant with regulatory restrictions. And so, we've made some really significant investments over this last year, and we'll continue to make investments around the cookieless future. So, platforms that don't require cookies or third-party cookies to be able to perform their core functions. The ability to deliver stability and performance. So not having a negative impact on your customer's experience due to defects or other challenges, while at the same time maximizing the value that the system generates for your customers. Reducing user friction, so ensuring that customers have access to those key outcomes within your experience without causing undue burden or challenges in navigating and finding their way through. Security and compliance, ensuring that that all technology is playing together towards a secure outcome, and that the data being used is not putting your customers at risk. And then finally, the ability to audit and understand at the deepest levels what decisions your system is making and what experiences your customers are receiving. And so these are all significant investments that we're making and will continue to make to ensure that every customer has the best possible experience when working with Evolv, and that your end users see you as a leader and concerned about their security and privacy. Click. So to summarize, that Evolv provides a very short time to value to our customers. We pioneered AI as it's applied to user experience, and the path to value with our technology, it can be under 30 days, which means that you can go from no optimization program to a successful optimization program with personalization in as little as a month. And the platform grows with you. So the early access to data to be able to start to find personalized opportunities is done while you're optimizing your base experience and getting a very quick value. Then as your optimization program runs, it continues to find deeper and deeper insights, deeper and deeper opportunities to maximize the value of every idea. And that is where we're at with Evolv, and what we are going to be working on over the next couple of months. So thanks everyone for joining, and I will turn it back over to Michael.
Great, thank you, Tyler. That was a great overview. Ning and Andrew, would love to get your perspectives on what do you think the one or two most important things companies should be focused on in 2021 are to impact and improve customer experience? And Andrew, why don't we start with you?
Look, I think it's about their business model. I think we need to go a level deeper in understanding what is the thing that is most supportive of each company's individual model and the best interest of their customer. And I think we're entering an era where that's potentially counterintuitive, minimum, which is really different, perhaps. And the journey, the experience, and the nature of it, and getting it to correlate with success for both the customer and the company is going to be the critical factor for people to succeed moving forward.
Great, thank you, Andrew. And Ning, final thoughts?
Yeah, I think there are two things that came to mind. I think the first one is to measure it. Most companies actually don't do that. Measure the success of customer experience. If you don't do that, right, you will always stay in the level of its good intention, good desire. It's not easy to measure it, but there's a way to do it. I think it's a very necessary investment as you're tackling your data strategy, tackling your analytics plans. You know, the second thing came to mind is I like how Andrew talked about business model. I would talk a little bit about operation model. It's also something not talked enough about, right? I don't think you can really be customer centric while the entire effort is somewhat afterthought in the operating model. Customer experience has to be an everyday effort. What does it mean to your existing production effort? What does it mean to your existing merchandising effort? What does it mean to your existing coding, build and design development effort, right? Especially with AI in place, I think, you know, it is time, not tomorrow, not in 3 years, now. AI is here. Think about how you operate with AI pretty much in every step of your operation. It is not as simple as just use the tool. I think it fundamentally changes how you organize yourself, how you organize your operations.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more. We think, the leveraging the power of AI really requires a wholesale change in kind of thinking strategically about optimizing experiences and how you leverage and harness the power to really make big improvements and do that all the time. It's not a project, it's something that really needs to be embedded in how everybody works across the organization. So I want to thank Andrew and Ning for joining us today. And I want to thank all of our attendees. It was great to have a chance to share our thoughts and perspectives on the market and a little bit about our platform. And I'll hand it back over to Marin to wind us down.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. Ning, Andrew, Michael, Tyler, thanks for joining us on the panel. Check out ThinkCX episodes 1 through 10 at evolv.ai. If you have any recommended topics you would like to hear in the future, please reach out to me at hello@evolv.ai. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day.